Welcome to the 21st Jackie's Proof Animals Have Souls and Psychic show, produced through Passionate World Talk Radio, a subsidiary of Global Media Network. I'm a psychical researcher, an author of 3 books, Moses and Jesus the Shamans, Mediums, and my Proof Animals Have Souls series, Proof Animals Have Souls, and 500 plus celebrities go vegetarian. They're all on Amazon as ebooks and paperbacks, and all can be read independently. And my website is www.jackie, Jackie, Jones, Jones, Hunt, HUNT.com. And my email is jackiejoneshunt@gmail.com. Now I'd like to introduce Steve Hermann today on this 21st show. So I welcome the guest, Steve Hermann from Massachusetts, USA. So welcome, Steve.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
Thank you. Steve's been in the spiritualist movement for 40 years and has 4 teenage children. He does one-to-one sittings, he does healing work and teaches mediumistic development. So I'd like to go straight into some questions with Steve, and would he like to tell listeners about his 2 ebooks?
Oh, well, I have print books and as well as ebooks.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
But I have 2 books, and I have my first book, best-selling. It's called Mediumship Mastery: The Ultimate Guide, The Mechanics of Receiving Spirit Communications, and that's on Amazon.
Yes.
And then I also have Mediumship Mastery 2, Advanced Techniques That Work, which is also on Amazon. And both of those books are designed for both experienced as well as novices. And they're very comprehensive. They're used worldwide as textbooks for training mediums. They're not about me, because a lot of these books you get on mediumship is basically just about the medium. But this is really on mediumship development and how it actually works and how to develop it. And they're quite good that way, regardless of someone's level of experience.
I'd be grateful to receive one and have a look at it, if you wouldn't mind, Steve, as an ebook. That would be great.
Yeah, it's something you'd love.
Thank you. Are you clairvoyant, clairaudient, claircognizant, and clairsentient? And before you answer that, clairvoyant is seeing, clairaudient is hearing, claircognizance is just a knowingness in your mind, and clairsentience is sensing. So which type of mediumship, or all of the above, would you say you have the gifts of?
Well, it's really all of the above, and they all kind of work together. And the other thing, of course, you certainly have the smelling and the tasting.
Yes.
And when the spirit helpers, when they work with you, they're going to, as a medium, impress your mind with all these different sensations, which you articulate as you're receiving it for the recipient of the communication.
Yes.
So it's a little bit of all of those things.
Okay. Do you ever see or sense or hear spirit animals?
Well, the soul is eternal, and the soul, whether it's in a human body or an animal body or even the body of your house plant that you forgot to water, so it kicks the bucket, that eternal individual continues after the destruction of the physical body.
Yes.
And obviously, if we have a really nice relationship with a soul that's, we might consider our pet, they're in the body of a cat or a dog, we love them so much. I mean, they're like awesome. So when they pass over, we're still going to be connected with those individuals.
Absolutely.
Because life is eternal and all life is sacred.
Absolutely.
I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat meat, this type of thing, and I'm really into healing, and animals are very, very, very important, and they come through all the time when it comes to spirit communications. It's quite common. I think most mediums have experienced that.
Oh, absolutely. And the more you have an affinity with animals, the more animals will be able to come through you and communicate through you telepathically with their senses and their feelings.
Animals need healing, but then they also give us healing too.
Absolutely.
And you see people, they're very, very dysfunctional with other people, and people are dysfunctional with animals too. So animals can actually help people in terms of the growth that people can make on an emotional type of level as well as spiritually.
Absolutely.
And
My little Jack Russell, Sue, she didn't know my dad because he'd been estranged from the family for many years, and he was in a care home. And when I took her into the care home, she immediately jumped onto his knee. And when the nurse came over with tea and biscuits, her loving little nature was sort of snarling, and that's not her. But she was protecting him. She immediately knew he was old and he was frail and he was in a wheelchair, and she was sitting on his knee and she was just checking out the nurse and anybody else who'd come near him. And then after a while she settled down. So they are healers. No wonder they have them in the care homes. They give so much healing.
Really good.
Yes. Do you ever experience being overshadowed where you sort of stand back and you see yourself talk or heal?
Well, what overshadowing is, okay, so when the spirits work with us, they work through our energy field, and energetically they make a connection with your central nervous system, and they're able to control the medium that way, physiologically. But then they're also mentally making a connection with spirits. So what commonly will happen if the medium is able to let go is the spirit will overshadow, they'll blend their energy, they'll come in very, 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 very close. So it'd be like the difference of having someone right next to you speaking into your ear or being across the room. So consequently, when they come in really close and overshadow, the medium will go even more into an altered state. But there's always an altered state involved with any aspect of mediumship. You know, a medium can be fully aware, or you can really get the medium out of the way, which goes past just the typical overshadowing in deeper levels of trance and control that takes place with that. And, you know, so if a medium is working with overshadowing, for example, if I were bringing someone through and I really let them come in close, you're going to feel that personality. My intonation will change, my mannerisms, body language, all of that stuff will change. Unless it's your mom, she's in the spirit world, she's coming through. Well, you'll feel like you're talking to your mom. I might probably start speaking, you know, in first person as well. Now, if that continues more, they can kind of push me, or they can push the medium out of the way more. You know, control the voice box, the vocal cords, and speak. It's like automatic speaking. Or sometimes people say trance channeling. And generally with that type of mediumship, when we talk about trance, it's like a blend. It's a composite of two personalities. The personality of the medium and the individuals coming through from the spirit world. And oh my gosh, you can have like 90% the medium, 10% the spirit, or the other way around. So that leads to a lot of potential delusion in some cases too. You know, people can say, I'm getting all this from spirit, and a lot of it's just their own imagination and stuff that they mix in there. What to speak of fraud? You know, and people deliberately, you know, they act like they're a German shepherd. Yes. They start crawling around on the floor, you know?
Yes. It's funny you said that, because a dog next door to this office has just started barking, and there's 5 dogs in this room, and they're all sitting intently listening to the show. Were you born with this gift?
If you have a medium and they start barking, you know that there might be some problems.
Yes.
Right in the middle of the reading.
Yes. Were you born with this gift, or did you feel it evolved as you grew up and over the years?
Everybody is psychic.
Yes.
Often people who get involved in this, they're a bit psychotic as well, because there's a fine line. But everybody has intuitive abilities, and so mediumship is natural. It's there. It's just like artistic or musical ability. So you definitely have some people, they come into this life, and they're really, 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 really open to the spirit world. Perhaps they've done it before. It's a quality they take in with them, that propensity. However, even if you're a really good artist, from day one, if you apprentice with other artists who have more experience, you know, you take classes that are structured, you're going to learn and you're going to expand. Mediumship's the same way. Education is really important. And sometimes you hear people say, I'm a natural medium, like you can be an artificial one. So it's very, very, very important, you know, to study and to have proper training with this, because one has to learn how to control the mediumship, how to discipline it.
And also how to deliver a message. I've seen
Well,
mediums say to somebody in the audience, "Oh, you've lost 3 children," and then move on to the next person and leave that first one in tears. And I was always taught, if you have the sensitivity to do mediumship, you must have the sensitivity to be aware of everything that you are communicating. And not to leave anyone upset, but to leave people uplifted, because mediums can be the best bereavement counsellors that there are.
Well, with mediumship, I mean, part of the training is learning how to, ethics. It's learning the etiquette of it, presentation, whether you're one-on-one
Yes.
or working with a larger group. On the other hand, when we talk about mediumship, it's not just randomly opening up to people, letting anyone come through like a leaky faucet.
Mm-hmm.
It's all structured, so anybody coming through from the world of spirit is vetted. They're permitted to come through. The communications, the content is completely planned out in a general sense beforehand. And the medium, the big thing is just being able to articulate it properly. And if there's translation or interpretation involved, say it the correct way and everything. And that's also part of the training.
I know,
and
because
that's not something that happens overnight. That's
Yes.
over a period of time.
I know. Because sometimes a medium will just pick up half a dozen words and then they will have to interpret it, and they can sometimes make mistakes. Do you have a spiritual message you'd like to share with listeners?
Well, we were talking about animals, and obviously animals bring a lot of healing to people if we open our hearts up, and that's actually true with other people too. So with mediumship is all about healing, and it's all about love, because the only ingredient that's necessary for healing is love. And the reason why people's loved ones, even individuals who had a dysfunctional, messed up relationship with, why they come through is because they care about us and they want to help us to evolve and grow and get closer to God. And mediumship is something which is wonderful. It can completely transform someone's life. Someone can be a recipient of communication. They can be a complete atheist, completely skeptical, just thinking all of this stuff is complete bunk. Life is just a bunch of chemicals. And then they receive a communication, and maybe they don't even know what the medium is talking about. They go home, they speak to their husband, and he says, "Oh yeah, that was my stepfather," who they never knew. See? So this aspect of mediumship is something, it's not just blind faith or reading some philosophy or adhering to some theology.
Mm-hmm.
It brings absolute conviction to someone who investigates it thoroughly. And the spirits encourage us to use our intelligence.
Absolutely.
They don't want us just to blindly believe things, be really gullible. Some medium says, "Oh, you're going to meet a man with a gold tooth." Well, it's not about fortune telling. But, people are going to say, "Oh, you need to go out to Arizona in the States, go to Sedona, go hang out in the desert. The alien spacecraft is going to come and get you."
I know. Well, that's going
leave your family, leave your job.
Yes.
I mean, people are extremely gullible, even just within the spiritualist movement. They don't test the medium.
I know.
And they don't test the spirit. I mean, you can go to some seances, right? Physical seances. They have you literally fill out an application form. Can you imagine that?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go in there, of course you've shown your ID or your passport.
Yes.
And everything's in the dark. And people don't question that. There's no test conditions, this type of thing. So you can do all sorts of magic tricks. So always test the mediums.
Absolutely.
And don't just believe some garbage that someone says to you, because it's not necessarily coming from the world of spirit.
I could give you one example. A friend of mine was told that his twin brother was with the medium, and he said, "But I'm an only child." Well, he went away and asked his aged mother, "Did I have a twin brother?" And she said, "Yes, he died at birth, and I never told you because I didn't want you to have that burden." And that was excellent proof that a third-party communicator had come through.
That's wonderful.
And it wasn't just a psychic, because psychic and mediumship are two different things. Well, the time has flown, Steve. So I think we'll need to talk again in the future, and we need to close the show. And thank you very much for coming along. And your email and website will be in the blog that I write for the show. So thank you very much for coming.
Well, God bless you, and keep up all your nice work, and you have a wonderful rest of the day.
And you. Thank you.